Hello and welcome back to the Golden Octagon MMA podcast. This is episode 19. I am Matt Anderson. On the other side of your screen, you have Dorian Rose over there. Dorian, man, I knew I wasn't going to be able to escape talking about this. Pretty much your favorite fighter on earth. TJ Dillashaw versus Corey Sandhagen happened last night, man. Aside from the card, how have you been like this past few weeks? Because we didn't film last week. You know, just a lot going on. The card wasn't that good. So how have you been, man?
We've been good. Taking a little bit of time off, but hey, investing in the product because look, if you can't tell, the quality is a lot better on my end. So it's not looking like I'm talking through an old computer or something like that. So, but been good, been good. The card was good last night and had a lot of fun watching that. You tend to overhype my favorite fighter ever. So I mean, I do love watching him fight. The dude's an absolute killer, and man, it was a crazy card overall last night. There were a lot of damn good fights on that card last night. So excited to talk about everything.
Yeah. So, as you said, the quality on Dorian's end is pristine now. He went out, invested in himself, invested in the camera. Hopefully, the sound is good for both of us at this point. If not, just let us know. We'll try to just make it better. Just let us know in the comments like what could be better, any and everything like that. We enjoy the comments, all the feedback. Just let us know. And also, before we get started, please put a thumbs up on there because apparently we never ask you guys because I always watch the videos back. I'm like, I didn't say the thumbs up or subscribe, but that's a given. If you enjoy the show, please help us out, help the channel grow. But I guess let's just
Press
jump
the red
into
button.
it, man. Yeah, for sure. That red button, please press it for us. So I guess let's just kind of jump into last night's card. Corey Sandhagen versus TJ Dillashaw, the main event. I don't know if he's your favorite fighter, but he's definitely top three. This man is, I feel like TJ Dillashaw is his favorite fighter. So I'll let you go ahead, man. How did you think the main event went and the takeaways from it?
As you stated, he is one of my favorite fighters. I'm just going to be honest because we're here for the people. That's what we're supposed to do, man. I actually thought he lost the fight. I thought that Corey Sandhagen won it 3-2. So I thought Corey won I thought TJ won the first round. He started the first round pretty hot. He had a lot of control. He used a little bit more wrestling than I anticipated him starting out with because I thought that might have gassed him as the fight went on, but he was able to get some good control. Then I thought the second round, I thought Sandhagen started really finding his range and he started tuning TJ up big time, and that's when he ended up putting that big old gash over his eye and hit him right in that spot, the same spot that he got cut on when the fight got canceled originally back in May. So TJ's probably going to have to do something about getting that fixed, or he might have an Nate Diaz situation in which the fight could possibly be stopped due to a cut like that. But I thought overall, the third round went to TJ. I thought the fourth round went to Corey, and then the fifth round, it was, I guess, in terms of the judges' mind, I think it just came down to whether they liked the control by TJ on the fence and the forward pressure that he was putting on Corey, or the fact that Corey was landing the more significant blows. For me, watching the fight, Sandhagen outlanded him, and he landed the more significant blows, even though he was moving backwards. I thought that TJ did a good job at whenever they got close, he clinched him up, put him up against the cage, and tried to get some type of strikes off on him and control him against the cage to get that control time. So I think in terms of the split decision, I think that's what the judges kind of lean towards. And I wouldn't be surprised if the judges really did try to, I don't think they intentionally did it, but they did sway that and to a certain extent because the crowd went absolutely bonkers in there. And it's such a small environment as it is. So I think that in that fifth round, when the crowd really started going for TJ, I think that really buoyed the judges in TJ's favor to give him that decision and giving him that fifth round. So I think that's what ended up kind of getting it done for him. But just overall, that was a damn good fight. And TJ to look as great as he has, 2 years off, and coming off the steroid suspension, people were saying, what was he going to look like? Win, lose, or draw, that was a damn good performance by him. And Sandhagen really proved that he was a 5-round fighter as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a good fight, and I didn't really care who won. I guess you could say like I don't like TJ, but it was a good fight. Like I didn't like I'm not really like a huge fan of either one. But I don't like TJ, so I was rooting like for Sandhagen. I did think that he had like won in the end, but like you said, it was a super close fight, so I wasn't mad at it either way. But I just did notice a few things. Like TJ, I almost feel like anyone can say what they want. I was like, there it is. There it is. Like you could tell his pace wasn't as much as it used to be, or from what I like remember. I just like remember him being like Mavrick really and just nonstop. He had a unlimited gas tank, but it was almost like he was conserved last night, and it kind of like I was like, maybe is that him not having his little helping out friend EPO? And I just want to say this: he said that was the same cut like that opened up late during camp. That is not in the same spot. That's not in the same spot. He got fucking gashed like in his fucking forehead over here. So,
You can see
same
the line of
eye,
scar tissue, though.
same
You can
area,
see the
but
line of scar tissue right there.
like but he acted like that's not like he didn't do it. It was like because he got like it was already like not healed there. In my opinion, same eye, but he was basically on the other side of his eye completely. Like he's just not giving Sandhagen credit because he's a fucking poor sport. I like this dude he has an excuse for everything. Like I'm just he's an excuse monster. Anyway, man. Yeah, good fight overall. I didn't really care who won, but do you think that
Man, you
TJ
find a way to
should?
really pick at him.
It's just I don't like him. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that he deserves the title shot right away, or should he get maybe one more in?
Really, I think that, who else but the title? I thought that, coming into the fight that Corey was going to be the front runner for the title before taking the TJ fight. So he didn't really have to take that fight. He kind of took it as a stay busy fight because Jan and Sterling are going to have the rematch. So I think that Corey was going to get it. I think he took the TJ fight to stay busy. I think TJ being the former champion, technically he never lost the belt before. Yeah, I mean it's a
He
perfect
just
storyline
cheated.
for him to come in and but look at John Jones. Look, John Jones
And
got
he had to
stripped as
come
well,
back
but
and
he
win
came.
it.
Yeah, he exactly, and he got put right back in that title fight. TJ didn't even get put right back in the title fight. He came off of the suspension and fought the number one contender. So I think for the best marketing and honestly the best fight is to put TJ in there, whether Sterling or Jan win, because as you've seen in the fight last night, yeah, he didn't have the same pace that he had in the past. But I mean, you can attribute that to 2 years off and double shoulder surgery as well. So, he had a lot of ring rust coming in. I know Dominic Cruz doesn't believe in ring rust as much, but you can make the argument that ring rust was some of the calls are reserved, but he went all 5 rounds as well. So, but yeah, I do believe that the next fight coming up probably should be the title fight between whoever wins between Jan and Sterling.
Oh, man. Just not my kind of guy. That's all. As like Matt Sarah told Joshua Fabio, you're just not my kind of guy. That's just how I feel. I don't know. He just I feel like he'll never like I don't know. There's just I feel like he's such a fake person. He's always like, well, that didn't happen because of this. Like he'll always have an excuse. Like it's like right before this, he was like going in like, yeah, I had a great camp, this, and this, and then right after the fight, because because I feel like Sandhagen hurt his like knee. He actually came out saying, "Yeah, I was hurt going into this like training camp and shit." It's like, bro, give the dude credit because he beat your ass. Like he pieced you up a lot of that fight. He had him in the flying knee triangle shit. That was deep. He let go of that and then put a knee bar on him. He hurt. I feel like those are two fight ending sequences that could have possibly played out there, but Sandhagen won't get credit from TJ because TJ's a fucking poor sport. That's just what it is.
But I mean, I do get it to a certain extent as far as him, not giving Sandhagen the proper credit. I can get your criticism from him
It's
there.
like it's
I think part
always
of it,
he's never given an opponent credit for winning or hurting him at all. It's like
but he did admit that he was dangerous. He admitted that that right hand caught him off guard.
do you know how
Rocked him.
stupid he would have looked? Like if he was like, "Nope, I was never in any danger at all." You know how dumb he would have looked. I feel like he
Well, I
had
mean,
to have said that.
well, right, but I'm saying like he'll be honest where he has to be. So it's not like he doesn't give the guy any credit at all. But I think that's part of the competitive edge for him being a fighter. I just think that's what helps keep the chip on his shoulder is just him, having the mindset that he is the best. Because coming into the fight, he kept saying that he could go all 5 rounds and he knew how to beat Corey. And going into the fight, I thought Corey was going to win, and there were a lot of guys that worked. One thing I can say is that Dillashaw does have a pretty big name because guys that I've worked with yesterday were actually asking me, man, what do you think about Dillashaw's return? And these are guys who don't watch the UFC at all. So Dillashaw does have a marketing name for the UFC. So I do think he would
Thanks
deserve
to Conor
the title
McGregor.
shot that comes up. I mean, hey, everybody got to get that Conor rub every now and then,
Dude,
I mean,
I
everybody gets
swear,
the
that's pretty much
yeah.
how it
Everybody
happens, dude.
Nate got it from Conor too. Dustin's getting a little bit of it. And Nate had he shared his with Leon and Jorge. That's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
You got to get it
All
how you
right.
can.
All right, man. So I guess anything else on this fight, or is like kind of like just a good fight overall and like cool TJ's back, like another top contender in the 135. He didn't really go anywhere. Like I feel like I almost feel like 135 right now, dude, is just so stacked. It's if not the best division, it's top three in the UFC, dude.
I actually think it's the best right now, and just in terms of like the high level of fighters, I actually think that 135 you could definitely make the argument right now that it's the best in all of mixed martial arts. 155, 170, name a weight class, and I think that 135 is up there with the best of them. And TJ Dillashaw with his name thrown back in the ring, I mean that just adds more fire to already the most stacked division in the UFC. So definitely excited for a lot of the matchmaking moving forward in that division for sure.
Anything else on the fight though, or
No, just I mean it
you've ran out of
definitely
lotion for TJ Dillashaw?
yeah. Well, no, I got some more, but I'm just trying to save it for the rest of the card and my boy later on down the card, Adrian Yanez. But we'll get to
Yeah,
that fight.
yeah.
But
So
let's go on to the other fight of the night before TJ and Corey had to take it.
yeah, so co-main event: Kyler Phillips versus Raulian Paiva. I believe that's how you say his name. This is a very unpopular opinion, dude, but I feel like that fight was a draw. I feel like Kyler Phillips 10-8'd Paiva in the first round, and then Paiva, I feel like, did enough to edge Phillips out in the rounds in 2 and 3. So when it comes down to it, I feel like it should have been 28-28. It should have been a draw. Maybe Kyler Phillips should have got the hand raised, but in the end, Paiva gets it done, dude. I guess, what did you think about this fight?
Um, as I was saying, I thought it was fight of the night before Corey and TJ sadly had to steal the thunder away from Kyler Phillips and Paiva because, man, that was a hell of a fight. Because starting off, the way that Kyler Phillips was landing those vicious step-in elbows, he was absolutely crushing Paiva with them. He dropped Paiva 2 or 3 different times in the
How
fight.
was
It
it
looked
not a
like
10-8 round? That's what I don't understand. How was
and
round one not a 10-8, dude?
he dropped him twice with that elbow. And once he dropped him that last time, he almost got the ground and pound finish. If the ref had to stop the fight in that situation, I wouldn't have been mad at all. And then starting that second round, I was basically saying, it's all over for Paiva at this point. And Paiva landed that big right hand and rocked Kyler Phillips. And it seemed like from that moment on, Kyler Phillips just lost all his momentum because it just seemed like he was never able to get his legs under him. He still had some pop in his shots, but after he took that big shot, you could just see all the gas just went out when he took that big shot. And I think that as the fight went on, Paiva was just able to put the pressure on him. I guess in terms of him getting the win was the deciding factor of the first round not being a 10-8. I actually thought it was a draw. I told my wife I thought it was a draw when the fight ended because I thought the first round was going to be a 10-8. And the fact that it was a 10-9, the judges are going to be super finicky with the 10-8 because I guess you have to have clear domination. Paiva had moments in the first round, but Kyler Phillips had way more moments. So, and when he was putting it on, Paiva there dropped them late, and then he ended it with the ground and pound on top. So you could make the argument that it was a 10-8 round, but I guess the judges are so stingy with them. And then I thought it was clear last 2 and 3 rounds with the Paiva. So I thought at worst it would have been a draw, but couldn't be mad with the majority decision either. And that fight, hell of a fight. And Paiva just throwing, again, 135, just invested with a whole buttload of talent, dude. And now he's throwing his hat in the ring, and now he's up in the top 15.
Tyler Phillips was actually like a massive favorite going into the fight. Paiva actually coming up from flyweight, so he like he normally fights at 125, has a hard time making 125, but ends up moving up to 135. And man, what a performance, dude! Just a great
He
fight.
actually, muscle mass wise, looked a lot smaller than Kyler Phillips, too.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
yeah, for sure. But dude, 135, dude, is just I don't know, dude. There's just so much talent there. It's like, where does it end at? Like all the way down. Like when Dominic Cruz is like ranked what, like ninth or 10th, just something like that, dude. It's like
Yeah.
that was your champion like a couple of years ago. It wasn't even that long ago, dude. Anyway, so
Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo. I mean, the names are endless in the division.
Sugar Show, don't forget him. He'll be up there
Yep.
soon enough. Anyway, fight of the night. I thought so. Moving down, Darren Elkins versus Derek Manor, dude. I just want to say, but before we go, if you get the damage tattooed across your chest, dude, it's like, bro, you're a fighter. Like that's just what it is. Like it's not even
You're
just
stuck at that point.
it's tattooed across all across your chest in stitches. Like it's like written in stitches. The damage across your chest. The dude is a fighter, a fan favorite for the hardcores that are in the know. Like like the Darren Elkins, the Tim Means, the like the Sean Strickland, the Davy Grants. These dudes just you got to have a baseball bat to get them out of there because you're not going to get them out of there without anything just spectacular. These guys are so tough. But their gas tank just seems to last a little bit longer than everyone else's. And then when your gas tank runs out, it's game on for them. They fucking floor it, dude, and they usually get the finish. Here we saw Darren Elkins versus Derek Minner. Minner was trying to go for the chokes all the first round, ended up completely gassing himself out. And then Darren Elkins, the damage comes on round 2 and ends up getting the finish, dude. What's up? What's up here? How do you think this went? What happened? However you want to say it.
If you've ever seen Darren Elkins fight,
This is how it goes every time.
Every single win that he has gotten, it has went this way. Someone has came out fast and furious because he's not like an overwhelming dude. He's just kind of skinny, approachable. Just the look in his face. He doesn't look like he's mean. He's got the damage tattoo, but it looks kind of, I don't want to say bad, but in a sense,
It's
it
an
doesn't look the
awful
best.
tattoo.
So
What are you talking about? He has to know that's a bad tattoo. Like, do you think Jamal
it,
Hill fucking wakes up every morning and be like, that's a good tattoo? Like, with his fucking thumbs? Like, do you think he wakes up every morning and be like, man, I'm glad I got this tattoo? I'm sure they look back on it and like, man.
Hey, they got it for a reason, man. They got it for a reason. But no, every Darren Elkins fight you can think of that he's won has won exactly like this. And yeah, Minner came out in the first round, tried to put it on him. He tried to come out with all the submissions, ended up basically blowing his arms out. And then Darren Elkins did what Darren Elkins does, ends up putting the pace on him, just weathers the storm, and then ends up getting him on the ground, brutal ground and pound, and was able to get him out of there. And Darren Elkins, what is he, 37 years old, and he's still out here doing it.
He's
And
up there, man.
37 years old, and he's still out here, taking damage the way he is and getting finishes. So the nickname couldn't be any more fitting for him. So just a super gritty performance by him.
Just nuts. Like, if you just look at the dude, I could just like anyone that I want like to be like who's like the toughest guys in the UFC. Like that list of like all the names that's not listed is just go watch any of their fights. It's like they'll get hurt, but I will never count them out, dude. It's like you can never count those dudes that just seem to just have a little bit more heart than everyone else, dude. It's like you're not getting them out of there. So if you can't finish them, you better hope that you have enough left in the tank to get to the finish because they're gonna put it on the line, like no matter what. So I guess we'll move down to what was a fucking bank robbery, if I may say so myself. Miranda Maverick versus Macy Barber, dude. Miranda Maverick coming out definitely won round one in my opinion. Just put the pace on Barber. Barber really has distance issues. I don't know if it's just at the beginning of the fight, but she's shadow boxing. Like she was missing like a lot of her shots, and then Maverick just I feel like just putting the pressure on, tagging her up the entire first round. I'm not sure if the takedown happened at the end of the first round or then the second round. I think both. Like she gets a takedown. Like she finishes like the round there. Round two was pretty much more of the same. I guess Counter Barber was maybe holding her up against the fence like a little bit. But anyway, into the round, Maverick was on her back, landing some good shots. I feel like Maverick is up 2-1 right there. And then I guess midway through round three, in my opinion. Yeah, 2-0. I don't know what I said. What did I say?
2-1.
No, anyway,
The fight's over
at the end, it's 2-1. I thought Barber had the third round, but man, I didn't think any way possible Barber had two of those rounds at all. And if you just look online, man, you just see it everywhere. Robbery, robbery, robbery. 29, 28, like fucking Maverick. Just over and over and over. It's like this was probably the worst score of the night, in my opinion. Like the TJ versus Sandhagen fight, whatever. This I thought was clear as day, and the judges really dropped the ball. And I feel it's like, man, if there was any conspiracy, it could be right here. It's like UFC invested so much into Barber, like Sal Diamato's that guy that's known for having fucking weird ass scorecards. UFC slipped him a fucking check at the end, like, hey, we need Barber to win this no matter what. Boom. If it was one dude, this would have to be it. I feel like the UFC, but Barber, I feel like has been pushed so much by the UFC, and it's like, bro, I thought it was clear as day that she lost that fight, but I guess I'm not going to rant on anymore about it. How do you think this went? Who do you think won?
After watching the fight, I do think that Miranda also won that fight, similar to the main event with Corey and TJ. But I think another theme similar to the TJ fight, I think even though Miranda ended the round on Macy's back, I think that second round was really the deciding factor because the first round, she Miranda Maverick came out like a bat out of hell and was just putting it on Macy Barber. And I think you alluded to a good point. Macy just has problems getting started in the fight for some reason. It seems like ever since that Roxanne fight, she just had trouble. Because before that fight, she used to get a
Just
lot of early
rush and
finishes.
just
Yeah, and she would just run. She would run through chicks, and it seems like ever since that Roxanne Modafferi fight, she's just. I don't know. She's lost a step. I don't know if she's more hesitant now because she's afraid that she's going to end up doing something. But she's been a lot more reserved, and I think that slow start let Miranda Maverick, put it on her in the first round. First round was clear for Maverick. And then I thought in the third round, Macy really had to try to weather the storm. She was putting it on her, landing spinning back elbows against the cage. You can see why the UFC is high on her to a certain extent because she has a lot of talent. She's doing a lot of growing and she's doing it really on the job, similar to Greg Hardy. She hasn't been fighting for a super long time. So I do think, she's learning on the job right now as far as how to become a better fighter. And Miranda Maverick, I think in the second round she had that little. I think it's like the last 30 seconds she had her back, and then probably like the last 15 seconds or so she got like some good ground and pound. I think Macy had some control on the cage for a little bit longer during that round because Miranda Maverick ended up outlanding her in the round. But I think in the judges' eyes, similar to how they did the fifth round in Corey and TJ's fight, I think the clinch control, for some reason, they found that as the more dominant way. I mean, I see that as a more old school way of judging. I think, MMA should be more advanced now in judging to where, we could judge more of the damage now, especially now that it's more balanced fighters. We're not watching a pure boxer versus a wrestler, and then the wrestler just lays on top of the guy and then ends up getting the round. It's not the case anymore. So I
like it's
feel like
almost
that.
like they were giving like Barber credit for going for the takedown and opposed to not to Maverick for stopping like the takedown. It's like she's stopping her from what she's trying to do. I almost feel like that should be judged higher than the person going for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah, because they
it's
end
just
up
odd.
negating what that other person's trying to do. No,
Yeah,
I get exactly what you mean, and
I
that's what,
just
that's how I thought they should have judged it. But
I just
yeah,
feel
I
like
thought that.
I feel like it is a 95% sway, and all the fans, all the media are like, "Yo, Miranda Maverick definitely won that fight." Like, what were the judges thinking here? If there's UFC conspiracy, here it is, dude. They've invested so much into Macy Barber. They're like, we can't have her losing three in a row. She's the future. But bro, could you just imagine if Barber would have beat Roxanne, dude? How quickly she would have got fucking destroyed by Valentina, dude. There wouldn't have been a fighting chance in this world that Macy Barber beats Valentina looking anything remotely like she looked last night, dude. Valentina would get her out of there in the first round, man, without a doubt.
I mean, Valentina's getting everybody out of there,
Yeah,
pretty early. So I mean, that's not really any knock
yeah,
against
it's
Macy,
not
but
saying too much. Yeah, I guess
yeah, I
main
mean, Valentina's gonna do that to everybody. Whether Macy was ready for the fight or not, Macy's probably gonna get ran over by Valentina. So.
any anything else on this fight? Before we move into what was the first fight of the night.
I don't think I think for Miranda Maverick, I know you're high on her, and you can
she
see the talent that she has.
she's just like a local to the area. Like it's like she's literally like she trains like 5 minutes down the road, so I could just go there and be like, "Hey, what's up? Could I get your autograph or whatever?" But it's just like cool to have like a local, I guess, like a local sports team, if you will. Like, it's like like right up the road here. Like, I'm gonna be rooting for you no matter what or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't think this loss hurts her in any way. I think she has a lot of potential as well. So 125, it's pretty thin. So the division is still developing where it's still fairly new. So
Hey
I
man,
think
don't you
that
count
Miranda
out the
Maverick.
JYD. Don't you count the JYD in a couple weeks, man.
Anyway, I think that Miranda Maverick is going to be in a. I think she's going to be in a good position moving forward. You can see she has a lot of talent, and she's going to be a problem in the division moving forward. So the loss doesn't do anything for her. A lot of people think she won in the judges' eyes. And just one more thing, I seen one hilarious tweet last night from Derek Brunson, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it had said, "Bartender, I would like to have the drink whatever the judges had to drink during the Macy Barber versus Miranda Maverick fight." So
It's so true though,
I thought that
dude.
was pretty
It's
funny.
like I just feel like you're like it's been a while since I've seen an overwhelmingly amount of people be like, "What?" Like usually if there's like some controversy, it might be a like 70-30. Like 70 like percent of people are like, "What?" Or and then like the other 30 you're like, "No, like this is why this and this." But I feel like this is like 95% of people are like, what the hell? I don't know if I've seen one person be like, I thought Macy Barber won that. I haven't seen one person say that yet. But that's just me. So let's before we before I spend an hour on this damn fight, dude. One of your, I guess, prospects to watch out for, Adrian Yanez going up against Randy Costa, dude. Randy Costa came out and was, man, jabbing him up, had the pressure on him. And I had a bet on Giannis. So I'm like, damn, bro, like Randy Costa is putting the pressure on him. Like, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Giannis comes back around too, and it's like the fight switched completely. Giannis ends up getting the finish there, dude. Talk me through this. What happened?
We were messaging each other during the week, and I've been high on Adrian Yanez. Every time he
Little
fights, I tell
Masvidal.
yeah, I've told you he's a mini Jorge Masvidal for a little bit, and that every time he fights, watch out for this dude because he's absolute fireworks. And we were messaging each other throughout the week, and I was telling you, man, Randy Costa, he might be young, and of course Giannis is pretty young too, but Costa's he's going to be a problem in the division as well. Again, 135 just shows the talent rich division it is. But no, I thought that Costa just came out like a bat out of hell and was just, jabbing Yanez up. And I heard some post fight comments from Yanez, and he had admitted that in a lot of Costa's footage, he doesn't really throw the jab too much. So he never really anticipated the jab going into the fight, and that he didn't want to dip his head too much because he knows Costa is good for the head kicks, and he didn't want to get caught with a head kick. So that's one of the reasons why his head movement wasn't as good because he didn't want to catch one of those head kicks when Costa was slinging them at him. And he almost caught Yanez with one or two good ones. He clipped him a couple of times, but there were one or two that were just probably could have been fight enders had Costa landed them early in the fight. But I thought that Yanez just weathered the storm. He's also young in his tenure. I think this is his third official fight in the
Yeah.
UFC, but
Mm-hmm.
man, he fights like a veteran
I'm
because
trying to find some.
all the all the damage that Costa was doing to him phased him none because he was getting tuned up, but he was still in there and he was
Like he
waiting
was
for
almost
the
like he
opening.
was like just like upset at himself. Like, damn, he fucking hit me with that. Not like, oh, that hurt.
Yeah,
It's like, fuck, he hit me with that.
and he just kept to the game plan. He kept his composure, and then there in the second round, you could see that Costa, the way he tried to put it on Yanez there in the first round, it got to him and got to his gas tank, and he wore down. And Yanez, his boxing, dude, when he starts throwing his combos, I mean, the dude's
Clean.
just absolute. Is the cleanest. He might actually. He can throw his hat in the ring in there for best boxer in the UFC with Max and Dustin and Connor and whoever's trying to say they're the best boxer. Masvidal, I know he's one of the guys as well who said he's the best boxer.
Dude, I cannot
Yanez is
find
one of
this.
the just pure hand.
I've been trying to find. I was on a website like the other day, and it had like the two like the two fighters, and it had like Randy, like the Zohan fucking Costa, and then like for Giannis, it had Adrian, Lil Masvidal, fucking Giannis. That like that's why I was like trying to find it. Like, did this dude actually like take the name? But now I can't fucking find it anywhere. I have no clue where it went.
No, he doesn't go by Lil Miles at all. But
It
people
was
call
on
him.
a site, yeah. That like it had like in quotes Lil Masvidal, like where his fucking nicknames. I'm like, oh shit, did he actually like take the name? But I guess not. Yeah, dude, just great fight. It was fight of the night until the later fights happened. I thought, like, at least it was just back and forth. Like, it just shows you how crazy the sport is and how quick it can change. Both are still young contenders. I'm surprised this fight was actually made, but I'm glad that it was made just because you're able just to see, like, all right, who's going to be like the top of this next new crop of contenders coming up. Yanez proving to be he is one of the top. Anything else on this fight before we move to the prelims?
Yeah, just his boxing, Yanez is so clean. That finishing sequence was just a thing of beauty. Just the way that he started throwing the hooks to the head, and then
And
he
then the
threw the
body.
body
Ooh.
threw the body hook, and just all he had to do was get Costa's hand just a dip just a little bit, so he could just
Uppercut.
split the guard and land that uppercut.
Boom.
And the finishing
Dropped
sequence
him.
there, Costa didn't even argue with the decision because he realized, he got clipped, hurt
Like
bad,
he was
and
almost like,
that fight was over.
what happened? Like what I get hit with, and like they were both super like respectful after the fight. Like they were talking about it, like, bro, yeah, you hit me with that. Like I wasn't expecting you to come out like that. I just love seeing that, man. Like it's just good
Did
for
you
the
hear about
sport.
the banter going into the fight? Like what they were doing? They were having so apparently, I guess Costa is a fan of Dr. Pepper, and Yanez is a fan of Reese's. So basically, they uh, challenge each other to, the loser has to buy the other one a supply of their favorite
Oh
thing.
shit.
So yeah, so they ended up talking to each other after the fight, and they said they were going to go to the hotel and have a Reese's and a Dr Pepper together. So it was really cool to
That's
have
great.
like
That's
a
great,
little
dude.
corny, it's a corny friendly build up. So that was kind of cool. So, but just as far as Yanez is a contender, man, watch out for him. I've been telling people that he's going to be up there as far as one of the top bantamweights in the world. Just give him a few more good matchups and he's gonna be right there with the best of them, man. The dude's super dangerous.
Yeah. All right, man. So moving down to the prelims, we got one of my favorite, Punahele Soriano, going up against another one of my favorites. The UFC's been doing this a lot recently. Brandon Allen, Punahele Soriano. I feel like this fight was going to go one of two ways. It was going to be Puna knocking him out, or it was going to be Brandon Allen grinding it out, getting a decision in the end. And it didn't really go so that way, I guess. I guess you could say it kind of went that way, but really, Puna just uh, hitting Brandon Allen with everything that he had. And Brandon Allen just showing that he's got a fucking chin, dude. Like, I was telling everyone I like that I was talking to, I don't know what you're doing, but you're like,
I was fixing my seat, so
yeah. But
I got a little cushion under there, so
I
I had
told
to.
everyone this. If Kevin Holland didn't knock Brendan Allen out, I don't know if anyone will knock Brendan Allen out. And it kind of proved that way to be in this fight. Puna landed some clean shots, but Brendan Allen just a granite chin. You aren't going to get him out of there. It was a tough fought fight, if you will, but Brendan Allen ends up getting it done. Third round decision. What do you got to say here, man? I don't even know if you watched this one, to be honest.
Yeah, I ended up catching it later. I didn't get to catch the fight at the beginning because, of course, working and stuff. But to the knockout point, let's not forget fighter next week, Sean Strickland, knocked
He
out
did
Brendan
knock
Allen.
him out. He did knock
So
him out.
yeah, yes, he did knock out Brendan Allen. So I know
But
he said
I
it's
don't
the
feel like
personal.
that would be that wouldn't be up there. Like it's gonna really take something to get Brendan Allen out of there because the dude's tough. The dude is
Well,
tough.
well, I think what got him in trouble in the Strickland fight was that he was relying on his shin too much, and I think Soriano, that's another guy who can hit hard. And I thought that Brendan Allen, he's got really good wrestling, and
He's
it's
got
been
really good
strange.
wrestling and subs. He's beat dude's first round sub. Like that's his thing.
I don't understand why he doesn't go for more of it. He can mix it up a little bit more. I guess, just from a fan's perspective. You can say he's a little bit more fan friendly now because he's more willing to stand and bang. But I think for the betterment of his success, I think it relies on mixing it up and working into his dangerous submissions. He gets a lot of rear naked chokes and stuff like that. So he's really good with the submissions. I'm surprised that he hasn't tried to use them a lot more. I think he tried to become a little bit too reliant on his chin in this fight, but he did take some damage, and it was a good sign that he was able to eat the shots, and he was able to weather the storm, and then was able to put the pace on Soriano overall. So good fight between them, good win by Brendan Allen, and 185 is a division that's starting to heat up a little bit as well. So Brendan Allen, and then as there was another 185 fight on the card as well, and we'll talk about that next. But
It's the next
uh,
one, man. It's the
right,
next one.
yep, 185 starting to cook up as well, and good
All
win for
right.
Brendan Allen.
Yeah, so let's move down to it. Nasruddin Imavoyev, whichever one you say it, Dagestani, but trains in France. I feel like it was Cyril Gahn at 185 in a different body. They fight exactly the same, but I feel like Ian Heinisch just kind of. I'm not gonna say he quit, man, but I feel like he didn't want to be in there anymore. Like after seeing the Kelvin Gastelum fight and then watching that fight, it just looked like two completely different Ian Heinisch's. Unless Imavov just was putting something on him that I guess he hasn't felt before. What do you think happened here, man? And is Imavov pretty much? I mean, they train by this at the same gym by the same coach. He looks pretty spot on to Cyril Gahn, like exactly how he fights.
Man, I'll tell you, Imavov, he looked really good. His striking was super sharp. This is the first time I've ever kind of like taken notice to him. But Ian Heinisch, he kind of has a similar way of fighting as well. He starts really fast, and if he doesn't get you out of there in the first round, the dude typically tends to fade over time. He did it in the Kelvin Gastelum fight. He did it in the Derek Brunson fight, and those are two of the top contenders at 185. But just notable fights that when he puts the pace on in the first round and can't get a guy out of there, he's gone on to lose each of those fights. And I think that's kind of what happened. He started off fast, but Imavov was having none of it, was controlling the distance really well. So, like you said, sort of fought like Cyril Gahn to a certain extent with the bounce that he had. He was able to get in and out, and he was super fast landing that right hand. And I thought, he had a good finishing sequence as well. As soon as he landed that, I think it was an uppercut that he had landed on Heinisch at first that initially rocked him. I thought from that moment on, until the finishing sequence, that's when Ian Heinisch didn't want to be there because I just thought he was on wobbly legs the whole time. So Imavov really put on a good performance to finish Ian Heinisch like that. I mean, we know Ian Heinisch would be as tough as that could be. So for him to finish him in that way, yeah, he's definitely going to be somebody to look forward to in the future.
Okay, fair enough. Imavov coming up the ranks. So, man, first of all, before we talk about this next fight, I feel bad for Jordan Williams because they were like talking about how he's just been through a lot and he came off the Contender Series, diabetic, like not really the best fighter, and you just kind of saw it, dude. Fucking Mickey Gall kind of ran through him like butter, dude. And you've heard me say this a lot of time. Mickey Gall is not the best fighter in the UFC, dude. Like the dude's gonna get beat a whole lot. I think this was probably a fight for who's going to get cut from the UFC, and I think it's that time, man. If Mickey Gall runs through you like that, it's like, man, the UFC probably isn't the place for you. No disrespect to Jordan Williams, I'm sure he's a fantastic dude, great fighter. It's just there are just levels to this game, and I don't know if he's good enough to be in the UFC. Not being able to cut weight and such, it does take an effect, and you can see how he was way smaller than Mickey Gall in there, and Mickey Gall just ran through him. What's up here, man?
Yeah, I thought the same thing that Jordan Williams looked a lot smaller than Mickey Gall, and he just ran right through him. You know, he was able to get him down with ease, was able to get the rear naked choke, and was able to get him out of there. You know, sad story for Jordan Williams because I remember him being on the Contender Series last year, and he had that big win, and you know the UFC was kind of rallying behind him and things like that. But I do think you know in terms of getting into the UFC, it's going to be really hard for him to kind of maintain any success at 170 due to his frame and him not really being able to cut too much weight. So, but good performance from Mickey Gall. Wait for him to bounce back. You know, he does tend to
I
make
don't see
some
him going
interesting.
anywhere, but
No, but he does tend to make some interesting matchups. Like he'll lose some fights, but a lot of times when he's on the card, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, Mickey Gall's fighting. Who's he fighting?" Because whether he wins or he loses, his fights
he got the
are
CM
pretty.
Punk rub, man.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
that's
only reason
definitely
I
what
know
ended
who he is
the
because
point.
he fought CM Punk way back when the UFC had their CM Punk experiment.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where he got his name from, really. But I think he still sort of carries some of that. He did have a lot of like trash talk bravado there early on until he lost a couple fights. He sort of reeled it back in ever since. But uh, just for him, just a good way for him to get back into the win column. I mean, I don't think he's going to push forward toward the title or anything. I
Better
mean, he's
watch
not going to
out,
push.
Kamaru Usman. Mickey Gall is coming.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, Kamaru Usman better sleep with one eye open because Mickey Gall is coming, dude. But no, just a good bounce back win for him, and
I'm gonna take that clip out and just upload it to our Instagram and be like, everyone tell Dorian what you think. I'm gonna just take the one clip out and I'm gonna upload it. Kamaru Usman better sleep with
be
one eye.
completely, it's gonna be completely unfair, completely unfair. I would say that's dirty. You're gonna have the fans coming at me on wrongfully. But I'll defend Mickey Gall, man. I'll be like, look, you seen the takedown, you seen the submission. What does Usman have against that?
Jesus, dude. All right. Anything else on the Mickey Gall fight, dude? And before we move down to our first three
Uh,
fights of the night, we're just going to kind of cover them as a whole if you want.
uh, good win.
All right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
cool. Julio Arce gets it done over Andre Yule in round two. I was going for Yule here, man. I'm a Yule fan. I'm a Mr. Highlight, as he calls himself, dude. Dude's interesting to watch. I enjoy watching him. He ends up not getting it done. He ends up getting finished by Julio Arce. Sarge Eubanks beat the brakes off the newcomer Elise Reed. Dude, her eye was just fucked at the end of the first round.
Christ.
Definitely had to stop it. And Diana Belbita ends up getting it done over Hannah Goldie. I didn't see that one going this way. Belbita seems to have a chin and a half because she took 10, 12 head kicks, but it didn't matter. She ends up, decision. She ends up getting it done via decision in the end. But I feel like you could see her striking was a lot better than Goldie's striking. I'm just going to put it that way at the end. Anything on these last three fights here, man?
Yeah, I figured you get to it with the Yule fight and Chris Tanyani. Yeah, Tanyani, right? Yeah, your boy ended up going in there and getting the early stoppage. I
You
did
want to
think that
talk
was
about it, dude? It's like the dude. It's like he can't have one single night of reffing without early stopping it, dude. It's like how many early stoppages is Chris Tione gonna have tonight? Like I don't know, dude.
yeah. I actually thought it was a early stoppage. So yeah, I'm surprised that that wasn't your big overall riding point of that
Yeah,
fight. But
what else can I say about it? If it's a Chris Tione fucking ref fight, there's a high chance it's either going to be stopped early, stopped too late, or stopped and then restarted, and then the other person wins. I don't know, dude. That's how Chris Tione fights happen. It is what it is, dude. Like I've hit the drum as much as I can. Like, what the fuck is this dude doing in here? But I mean, us with our fucking 35 subscribers isn't gonna do anything.
I mean, hey, we send this up enough. I mean, look, they've already made the matchups that we've asked for when in our earlier podcast. And look, some of our predictions as far as fighters being champs and stuff like that,
Dude,
a lot of
that I
that's
feel
starting to play
like
out as well.
a
So
few of us are actually, or not a few of us. There's only two of us here. A few of the
I was
fighters.
like, what, you got that mouse in your pocket?
You and Izzy back there. No, but like a few of the fighters, like the we have picked is probably going to be the champion at the end of the year, man. But I feel like that's kind of maybe something like that we should kind of do in like a few weeks, like or something like that. Like just kind of go back. Who did we say like was going to be the champions for the year, and who was our fighters to watch out for? All of those. Just kind of go back, just revisiting that subject.
That Dustin Poirier pick, that's not looking too bad now, is it?
Not looking
So
too bad. Not looking too bad.
he's got enough time. December is supposed to be when that fight's rumored to happen. So I guess speaking of, what's your early thoughts on Oliveira versus Dustin since it's
Hold
targeted for
on, hold
December?
on. Before we start talking about like the news for just a second, we have a couple more fights that I just want to talk about. Not UFC, but we're going down to the deep and the dirty. BKFC happened in Florida last week. PVZ versus Rachel Ostovich. Man, I feel like Rachel put the pause on PVZ and Blueface baby ends up fighting a fan after the fight, dude.
Crazy, dude.
The mess that is BKFC. Did you watch any highlights? Did you watch any fights? How did you think that went? Is it interesting enough for you to just check it out from time to time?
Well, Brian Maxwell, the guy from Rocky Mountain, the guy who actually fought Chad Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So he's from there. He actually fights in BKFC. So I've seen a
Okay.
few of his fights. I've seen a few of his fights, but outside of that, I don't really pay attention too much. The only thing I don't understand is BKFC stands for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Correct.
There were multiple fights with boxing gloves on that night.
What is the point? Because you're saying
It's
you're
like
not trying
Triller
to
at
be
this
like
point.
boxing.
It's just
But
like
you're saying you're not trying to be like boxing. So why do you have guys that are actually boxing in this fight to begin with? So
I
that
mean,
was the thing that kind of threw me off.
I feel like we're so used to the UFC. It's like every other like promotion does this. Like one championship will have like Muay Thai and in the cage. They'll have boxing. They'll have a MMA fight. It's like I feel like every
But
other
that's a normal.
promotions are doing this.
Yeah, but that's a normal structure in most promotions. Like Bellator is known to put well, and they I think they're moving away from it from what they
Like they did
used
like
to, but
fucking Glory at the same time as like
yeah,
Bellator
but
or some
they
shit.
would well Bellator will have their own kickboxing events
Mm.
going on, and then
I said
we
glory.
know that one.
I should have just called it kickboxing. I called it kickboxing glory.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's all good. I got where you were going with it. Though. That's why I just let it slide. But no, the other promotions are really more known to do it. BKFC, their specific promotion is to differentiate themselves from boxing. Oh, we're not boxing. You can get in the
It would
clinch. We're using
it would
bare
almost be
knuckles and blah
like
blah blah.
it would almost be like, I don't know, like you going to watch a fucking basketball game and like they're trying to play fucking basketball. I'll talk with like a tennis ball. You're like, well, what are we watching?
Well,
Like, that's not what I came to watch.
It would be like if it was there was a boxing event. Let's say, for instance, a Floyd Mayweather fight. Floyd Mayweather comes back out of retirement and he rematches Manny Pacquiao, and somewhere down there on the undercard is like a regional MMA fight. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Like, why is this fight even scheduled on here in the first place? You know, I'm here to watch boxing. I'm not here to watch a regional MMA fight. So I think the same thing for BKFC. Just weird how they tried to differentiate themselves from boxing, but then have actual boxing fights on the card itself. But just weird promoting by them. But Rachel Ostovich, I thought she gave Paige Van Zandt the pause, as you said, and I thought that Blueface, that whole little fiasco there, that was absolutely crazy for him to get into.
Dude, how did the fan get in there? Like, first of all, like
it's almost like they let him in. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
It was almost like it was like staged. Like, first of all, why is a fan? He clearly looked to be a Blueface fan. Like, he had on some blue and white Air Jordan 1s. He had on a blue hoodie. I can't imagine he was going for the other guy. Like, it's like, why did the fight even happen? I don't even know what happened. Like, how did a fan just get in there and start? Why? Like, what's your goal here? Dude, it didn't make any damn sense to me. Dude. It didn't make any sense to me.
Just any chance for a moment to go viral, really, for anybody. That's really what it is.
Yeah. All right, man. So I guess you said there's some fight news that you want to talk about. What's up, man? Let's jump into some fight news. I don't really know what all's
happening. Really I believe there's 3 fights that are really of interest, and all 3 title fights. So Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan, almost forgot who they were for a second. So that got moved to October. That got moved to October 30th. Mm-hmm. Also, we have Glover Teixeira and Jan Blachowicz fighting on the main event for that card, and then we have Dustin Poirier and Charles Oliveira fighting in December. And just one early thoughts, really, just in terms of kind of which way you might be leaning to either of those fights. And okay. I mean, I guess I can go first just in terms of which way I'm leaning. No. I think as far as the Sterling and Yan fight, it's going to be super interesting. I am glad to see that fight's finally on the schedule, because it is going to be a while since they last fought. Yan is going to be a handful for Sterling, man. I thought that last fight, I thought Sterling was going to be able to go in there and put the pace on him, but I thought that Sterling gassed there, and then Yan was starting to put it on him late. So I think that Yan, early thoughts that Yan is probably the favorite, deservedly so, going into the fight. Glover Teixeira and Jan Blachowicz, I think that Yan is obviously going to be the favorite, even with Glover Teixeira on the run that he is. I think I just don't think he's going to be able to have enough for Yan in terms of overall game. Glover steps in there a little too much. We've seen him be a little chinny before and get knocked out. So I think Yan, early on, early odds, he's going to be the favorite. And then I think for Dustin and Charles, that's the most interesting fight. And just the different ways that it can go. We've seen Charles Oliveira weather the storm before. Look at his last fight against Michael Chandler. Arguably, fight could have been stopped in the first round. He comes back in the second round and knocks him out. So that fight could be capable of anything, and we know what Dustin's already capable of. Just look at his last few performances. But I think that Dustin, going into that fight with his boxing and everything, my prediction's looking pretty good, man. I think he's going to be the early on the favorite as well.
All right. I'll say this. I am definitely going to be rooting for Aljamain Sterling. I still want him to win. But, man, that's going to be like that damn hill that we used to have to fucking bear crawl up next to at the fucking library, dude. That's going to be that kind of climb, dude. Like, you're like, damn, this hill today? Like,
Mother. Not the hill again.
having a bear crawl up
Come
this
on,
damn
kid.
like this hill is like this degree. We used to have to bear up that shit for football
That hill
practice.
was that hill was exactly 45 degrees, and we had to run up it while it was like inclined like that. Like, bro, it was completely ridiculous. Like we had to essentially run upside down. So,
It made us
but
tough, man. It made us tough, I guess. I don't know, dude. But
look at us
anyway,
now.
I want Aljo to win that, dude, but Jan is just a monster. I don't really think it matters too much because these young killers, dude, and there's TJ out there. I think TJ probably beats both Jan and Aljamain. I'd be more worried about the Corey Sandhagen, the Sean O'Malley. I just feel like their range management, dude. Like if you don't do something drastic and spectacular to those dudes, man, they're just going to stand at the end and they're going to pick you apart all night. And I feel like that's going to be what you're going to end up seeing the champion being over this next few years. So I'm going to be rooting for Aljo. Jan's probably going to get it done though. Who else is next? Who else did you say? Oh yeah, Glover
Jan and Glover.
versus Jan. I don't really think it
Yeah.
matters, dude. I don't really think it matters because they're going to lose that belt in their very next fight. And you know who it is, dude? Fucking Yuri, dude. The dude is a madman. Throws caution to the wind. He's winning.
To that question, do you think they're going to keep Yuri on ice for that long? Because that's going to be a long time. Because when was his last fight? What was it? May. So I mean,
I
if he's
think
going
that there's
from
enough
May,
hype behind
October.
him.
I mean, but that's almost.
Who's going to want to fight that guy? Who wants to fight that guy? What kind of death wish do you have to have?
Put him and Rakic together. Put him and Rakic together.
Yeah,
I think those are the two
know.
front runners as far as.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to beat Yuri that doesn't bring a brick to the octagon with him, dude. Like, he's just a madman. He throws caution to the wind. And if he continues to work on his defense like he says that he is, dude, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for anyone.
Well, he's already a problem to begin with.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing for him, dude, he's just got to quit taking all these
shots. The pressure that he puts on, though, is ridiculous. Like, you know I'm a huge John Jones fan. John Jones was pressuring Dom Reyes their entire fight. Dom Reyes did not look as exhausted as he did in round 2 versus Yuri as he did in round 5 versus John Jones, dude. Like, it was almost like Yuri just zaps the energy out of you and uses it for himself with his fucking antenna and just unlimited excitement from Yuri Prochazka. Definitely probably one of my favorite active fighters in the UFC right now, dude. The dude is an animal, and I'm all for it. Inject me with some Yuri Prochazka. That's what I say.
That sounds like some type of like exotic drink at the bar that you would ask the bartender for.
Yeah,
so, yeah, definitely give him all of it.
And then Dustin versus Dual Bronx, dude. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I feel like I'm so off.
And of course, we got time.
I'm so off on what I think about the lightweights. Like, I'm never like right on the lightweights. Like, lightweights end up surprising me 100% of the time. Like, I'm a huge Justin Gaethje fan. I just kind of want to see him back in the octagon. It's like 155 after Khabib left and Connor's gone because he's not going to be fighting for at least a year. So when you're just looking around, like, why is Chandler versus Gaethje? Why haven't they like made that? Like, it's just kind of more. I don't really count the title right now because I feel like it's very unclear on who should actually have the title. So until like some of the contenders kind of start like maybe falling off just a little bit, it's like I'm just here for the show, man. I don't really care who wins the title. I don't think I really have a favorite 155er right now, if you will, but I'm just along for the fights, dude. I'm just ready to watch them. I don't really care who wins. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, just some fight news I'd wanted to get to. I didn't know if you had any other news, but
I
those are
I
kind of the
am
three headlines that have caught my eye.
I am interested that the Ortega versus like Volkanovski fight that got announced right for late September, something like that. So
Yeah,
glad that they're finally going to fight. This fight should have already happened a while ago, but I don't. I just want the fight to be closer, man. It's like I want like Ortega to win. I'm a huge Ortega fan. Volkanovski's good, and I almost feel like like the UFC right now just wants Max to be the champion. So it's like they're going to find a way to get
no
Max to be
man.
the champion. So I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm just a lot of
Volkanovski
fights
better
to
not
look
lose that
forward
belt,
to.
because if he does, Max is up next.
Yeah, it's a lot of fights to look forward to. Cyril Gahn versus old Derek Lewis is in what 2 weeks now, so that's quick, dude. Quick. I'm gonna be going for Derek Lewis. I know you're gonna be going for Derek Lewis, but man, that's also a that's also an uphill climb
Dang.
because man, Cyril Gahn, it's like he's like um, we kind of said I like the Leon Edwards is also like this, but he doesn't really make mistakes. Like he'll get booed all night and not care. Like he's like I'm gonna win this fight. Like he doesn't care if he gets booed. He's making sure that he's not in there getting knocked out, which is what I feel like everyone should do. But the fans, they do take part and they will encourage fighters to go after it a little bit more if you're getting booed, dude. I couldn't imagine just everyone's watching you and one other guy, and you're just getting booed. It's like, hey, man, like there's only two of us in
I'm
here.
trying
Like,
here, man. Like, come on.
yeah.
What
So,
can I do? I'm just a man.
yeah.
I'm
So,
only human.
anything else like you want to talk about, like before we just kind of brush over next week real quick? I don't want to talk about it too long. We've been here for a little
Uh,
bit.
yeah, I was about to say I didn't really have too much else.
Yeah, cool, cool. All right, well then we'll just look at next week's card real quick. Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland. I feel like this is an odd main event. Like I would expect maybe just somewhere in a main event, but the main event, it's like mm, not the best card. I'm going to be honest. It's a good fight. I'm going to watch it just like every other Saturday. I'm going to be watching the fights. This is one that I feel like Sean Strickland enjoys striking, and I feel like it's going to play out in the wrong favor because Uriah Hall, dude, I feel like he comes and goes, man. You don't know which Uriah Hall is going to show up. But if the Uriah Hall fucking shows up, the one that's there to take your head off will hit you with spinning wheel kicks, spinning back kicks, spinning liver kicks, dude. If that Uriah Hall shows up, dude, he's going to knock Sean Strickland out, dude. The Uriah Hall can knock anyone out in the 185 division, hands down, because the dude is a excellent striker. It's just you don't know which one's going to show up there. Anything to look forward to on that fight specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty interesting just in terms of, seeing where, each fighter's at.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Strickland's starting to reel off a bunch of wins here. He's had a bunch of finishes. I think his last fight went to a decision, but again, sort of mentioned him earlier, he had actually knocked out Brendan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like in the middle of last year or so. But Sean Strickland's put on a good win streak. Of course, unfortunately for Uriah Hall, no, not for Uriah Hall, but Chris Weidman had the unfortunate accident in their last fight. So Uriah Hall kind of really hasn't been super active. And I know he's been wanting to try to get active and try to push himself forward in terms of possibly getting throwing his name in the hat for a title shot, maybe. So I know he's been trying to push towards that. Good matchmaking, because I think that this is pretty much a striking affair for the most part. It just comes down to whether Uriah Hall is going to be able to have the motivation to go out there and fight his fight. I think Strickland's going to go out there, and I think he's going to stick to the game plan. I think he's going to make it a muddy fight, and I think that Uriah Hall is going to have to be ready to weather that storm. So I think it's pretty good matchmaking overall for this fight. Both of them are coming off a pretty big win streak, so this should be a pretty good main event that we get.
It's almost like how it's like this could go one of two ways. Like Sean Strickland's going to get pieced up real bad, real quick. He's just not going to have the tools to deal with Hall, or it's going to be this long, drawn out fight where you just see the heart of Sean Strickland. I mean, because it's going to be a fight no matter what, but you'll be able to tell real quick that Sean Strickland have the striking tools to keep up with Hall, because Hall he's a good striker, dude. Like you can't discount the guy. Dude,
Uriah Hall is always super dangerous.
Do you remember when he knocked out he's not in the UFC now, Bellator guy? What was his name?
Gegard Mousasi.
Dude, that was ruthless. Ruthless.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's one
if
of my
that
favorite
Uriah Hall shows up,
crazy.
dude, it's like you gotta watch out. Anyway, so also on the card, Chris Dawkins, one of Dorian's favorites. The dude's just game. The dude's down to throw some hands. Him and his brother Kyle, right? Brothers?
Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
Kyle.
Yeah, I think Kyle's slated against Kevin Holland. So
yeah. The return of Cheyenne Bays. She last lost to Dorian's favorite Conejo and then got a loogie to the face, but she's returning against Gloria DePaulo. Ronnie Yaya on here, man. The dude's still doing the damn thing. 27-10-1, dude. The dude, I put him in the same category, just like Benny Dariush, dude. They're just there. Like I kind of get them confused from time to time too, but it's okay. Like if I just if I can see like a picture of them, I'm like I have to think. I'm like, is that Benny or is that Ronnie? I don't know. Hani, I don't know how you say it. Anyway, Sam Alvey returns. Yeah. Sam Alvey returns, even though Benny's from I don't want to get it wrong. He's from the Middle East somewhere though. Brian Barberino returns. Huh?
I said the Netherlands. Is that right?
No. Like,
or am I thinking of
I think Iraq. Benny might be from Iraq, one of the two. Maybe Iraq or Iran, one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah. Alistair is from the Netherlands. Yeah.
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Just looking on the card, Wu Yaonan, prospect from China. She's pretty good, going up against Nico Montano, your inaugural number one of all time women's 125 champion there. So Rafa Garcia's on here as well. Kai Kamaka's on here. He's a fun one to watch. He's got them paws. Jinyu Fry, someone to watch out for. She was the 115 Invicta champion going up against Ashley Yoder. It'll be an all right fight. Aside from that, Phil Rowe on here, Ryan Benoit. The dude is always down to fight as well. Anything else before we get out of here, man? Any fights you want to look forward that you're looking forward to next week?
It seems like next week's one of those.
It's one of the ones that I'm going to be honest, it's going to be one of those ones you probably guys won't get a podcast for following the week because we're going to be like, man, it's okay. Who knows? We might have something else for you guys. We'll figure out how to do something. I don't know. We'll do something.
We got the production now. So look at the camera quality. We're going to have an easier setup now. So in terms of filming, maybe we could do one next week. You never know.
Dorian investing in the show. Finally, he invested in himself, made his side better. I'm definitely proud. Look at him over there. All right, man. But I guess that's it for this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, if you enjoy the show, please put a thumbs up on it. Show us that you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please put it down below. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. Do you enjoy the new setup? Hopefully you do. We're investing our own money into this. We're not sponsored or anything like that. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. But I guess that's it. Stay golden. We'll catch you next time.